this is a game where he's going to start to bounce back a little bit. But you're right, Tom. You're absolutely right. They cannot run the ball. I mean, I think the whole saga of taking Eddie Lacy in the first round in fantasy football can officially end. The thought it can just officially go away.
Yeah, I agree. Pepper Jack, what you got here? This actually should be a good game for points.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think there'll be a lot of scoring going on in this game. I do think that Green Bay gets James Starks back. I don't know what that's worth because I think Montgomery has done okay as a running back in that offense. Randall Cobb still, who knows what ails him. He did play late in the game last week and scored a touchdown for anybody that had him in their fantasy lineup. Of course, I did not have him in my lineup because the experts from CBS said that he wasn't playing. Thank you. Now, this is an interesting fact. Tennessee, according to the computer pick, is 11 points better than Green Bay. Here again, I don't know what's going on because America sees it 72% over, and they are taking the Green Bay Packers 67% to 33% as the victor in this game, minus the 3 points.
Wow.
Joey, I'm with you. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. I guess he got in his teammate's face after the game Sunday, and even Brett Favre called him out. So I don't know if that's good for this team or bad for the team. What do you think, Tom?
I don't know. That's what leaders do, and sometimes that when you have a moment like that, it does resonate and it takes off. Or on the other half, you're just not very good and doesn't do anything. We'll see.
Yeah, that could go both ways. I'm a firm believer that if you look around the NFL, teams that are continuously successful, no matter how good, they all have that great quarterback, but you got to be able to run the ball. And without being able to run the ball, I think that really marginalizes what Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense can do. I think that Randall Cobb, when he takes his helmet off, looks a lot like the female gremlin from that 1985 classic. I don't know what it is about him, but he spooks me. He just doesn't seem to show up game in and game out. He's very inconsistent, wildly inconsistent. So is Devontae Adams. Jordy Nelson is so touchdown dependent that I don't know. Until they can run the ball, I'm not sold on Green Bay at all. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they may win that division by default because Minnesota sucks. Because Chicago's not going to sneak in and do it.
Could it be possible, just maybe, are the Detroit Lions the best team in that division right now?
Yeah, it is. It is, and I think I've done a decent job of defending Jim Caldwell over the years. That team plays for him.
And they must like the man. And Matthew Stafford's playing good football.
He is, and he's not the best quarterback in that division. I had a discussion with somebody the other day that tried to convince me that Aaron Rodgers sucks, and that's going to take a lot of convincing.
See, that's exactly why I want him coming out firing on all cylinders. I've been kind of hearing that it's kind of like whispered talk, but it's getting louder, and I don't like it.
It is, and I think it's bogus. If you watch those games, and I do tend to watch the Packers games, I have Rodgers in a handful of standard fantasy leagues, so I do tend to watch him week in and week out. He makes a lot of throws on the run. The pocket collapses. It's constantly in motion. Receivers don't seem to do a good job of working their way back to him, and I don't know why. They've all worked together for years. But he's under duress quite a bit. This team's just not very good. They're not very good. They might be one of the worst 4-4 teams in the NFL, and slowly.
Do they put a 30-bagger on Tennessee this weekend?
They do. They come up close.
Maybe we're expecting the Green Bay Packers of the past, where you automatically expected Aaron Rodgers to have 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I did when I drafted him.
Yeah. It's like, for Green Bay, beating up on Tennessee to me is like beating up on a guy 20 pounds less than you. It's like, at the end of the day, you may have kicked their ass, but what did it prove?
I don't think Tennessee's that bad. I think that Tennessee defense is really improving. Dick LeBeau is doing a tremendous job, like everybody thought he would. I think Tennessee's getting better. I think that if anybody wants to have the discussion with me about Marcus Mariota v. Jameis Winston, there's slowly but surely becoming this big disparity between the two.
Well, Pepper Jack's ready to make his pick, and he's going Green Bay. I'm going Green Bay, even though the experts believe Tennessee's going to win this game. I think Green Bay wins. I think they cover 30.
We the experts, bitch.
Green Bay.
What was the score there, Jack?
30-24 Green Bay.
30-24 Green Bay.
Mason Crosby. They got Mason Crosby, who is pretty much the man still.
Yeah, he is.
He's pretty good.
He actually dressed up as himself for Halloween this year.
I would too.
That's a fact. Let's move on. This used to be an old black and blue division game, and when I was a kid living in Tampa, Florida, it was the only time the Buccaneers ever sold out, with the exception of the Detroit Lions visits with Barry Sanders. The Chicago Bears travel to Tampa, take on the Buccaneers. That Buccaneer team looks worse every week. The Bears on the road are a 2.5-point favorite. 45 points is the over-under. I do see Tampa getting back in the right track here this week. Chicago's not very good, but they may or may not move away from Jay Cutler. I think there's a very slim chance that he returns next year. But this is the week that counts. Winston has to get back on track against the Bears defense that is very, very average. I see Tampa winning this game 29-20.
That's not too bad. I like Tampa in this game too. This is another one of those games you watch on the TV. Unless you have fantasy interests or you might be a degenerate gambler, I just hit the forward button, go past it. Not a very good game by any stretch. I do like Tampa to win this game 24-20 though. I think actually fuck it. I really don't even know. It's just a terrible game.
Well, something's got to break here because the Bears are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 road games, but the Buccaneers are 0-6 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games at home. So what do you think, guys? Something's going to break here.
Tampa can't score any points.
No.
I got 180
Mike Evans
points on
a little
the season.
banged up, too, I think. I think they get Doug Martin back. I don't know if that'll be a good thing or a bad thing.
No, I haven't heard anything definitive yet locally. I don't think he is healthy, and I think if he does come back, you might see him 5 to 7 touches, something just to give him a little bit of a little traction. But I don't think he's going to be a factor in this game.
Well, Pepper Jack thinks that Jay Cutler finds his way. I think
Tampa Bay's pass defense is pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, it's Jay Cutler. You never know, but if he's going to have a good game, I mean, this is it.
Yeah, I think he hooks up with Alshon Jeffrey a little bit in this game. I think Cameron Meredith might sneak one in, or Zach Miller. I think Chicago has a little bit more weapons with Jordan Howard, who showed up again last week against them. I think the Vikings, right? Or they played last week?
That was 2 weeks ago on Monday night.
2 weeks ago. Well, anyway, he showed up last week, whoever they played. Total is 45.5 according to my record. 73% of America believes it's going over. I'm going to go with the Road Bears in this game. I think they're going to take it over 27-21. Chicago.
Oh, and I just looked it up. They played the Dodgers last week.
The Dodgers.
Here's one I like a lot this week. This is a game I stared at quite a bit in fantasy football. Miami Dolphins travel to San Diego, where it's 72 degrees and sunny all the time. San Diego Chargers are a team that is really, really intriguing to me. They win games, they lose games. They've had some heartbreakers. They've had some real close calls that have cost them, probably cost them a playoff spot when the season's all said and done. My computer won't update and get to that AFC West portion I need, but that's all right. San Diego was a 4.5-point favorite here at home. The over-under in this game is at 48 points. I want to hear Joey Peeps' number since San Diego is his hometown.
Yeah, if only, I wish. But I have to say, San Diego was my play last week. I rode the Chargers hard like my name was Sky Lopez, man. I like it. I like the Chargers big again this week at minus. You have that at 4 like I do.
4.5.
4.5. I still like San Diego. Miami can be stingy at home, but going all that way across the country, playing San Diego, who I think is actually a pretty good football team. I love Phillip Rivers. I think he's very, very good. I'm all over San Diego in this one too. Call me Sky, man. 31-21, San Diego.
By 10, yeah. I think the Chargers have a real good opportunity at making a statement here. I got them winning 39-28, which is way over that number as well. It's just before I forget, this is another game. San Diego's been a nice overs play. I like it. Pepper Jack, fill something in here.
Pepper Jack sees this game going to overtime, and Fouts hits Kellen Winslow. Never mind, that was years ago.
No.
Yeah. I got to go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers are actually a very good team. They're getting better. Bosa makes them better on defense. Their defense is starting to get some notice, and I believe a lot of the fantasy football rosters are starting to get picked. The Chargers are getting picked up, especially in some of these bye weeks, and they're not doing too bad. They're performing. I got it at 4.5. I see a little bit of the Phillip Rivers show. Melvin Gordon's got to be considered MVP this year, although I think Matt Ryan's running away with that. But, boy, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, who would have thunk it with Melvin Gordon after 0 touchdowns last season that he would be the player that he's becoming?
Can I tell you, I did a show in the preseason. I did the Fantasy World Order with my buddy JD over there, and JD was all over Melvin Gordon. He and I went at it a little bit, and I really was of the belief that this guy had no nose for the end zone. Didn't see it. Just apparently the light went on. I didn't see it last year. I thought the guy has all kinds of athletic ability, but just didn't click with him in the NFL. And this year it really has. The light comes on. They put him in positions. They've opened him up the smallest of holes, and he hits them. But, God, does he have a nose for the end zone? I was way wrong.
Yeah. San Diego 28, Miami 17.
28.
Goes under in a cover.
That is staying slightly under.
Pepper Jack, iced tea, baby.
Iced tea.
Read the
Lemonade,
sign.
man.
Did you see any celebrities in Vegas other than yourself?
Yeah, well, Terrence Bud Crawford I took a picture with at the Manny Pacquiao fight Saturday, a guy who was a very good boxer and will be for a long time. So if you guys, anybody into boxing, pay attention. This guy's pretty damn good. And he probably is due to fight Pacquiao.
Nebraska?
He's from Omaha, Nebraska. Correct, sir.
Did he think he looked like Justin Timberlake?
He saw that white fedora on my head, and I don't blame him one bit. He just looked at me. I was like, hey, Bud. His nickname is Bud, by the way. I said, hey, Bud, I got family from Omaha, and I want us to just take a picture. I think they'll get a kick out of it. He looked at me, just smiled, and goes, all right, man, no problems. And I know what he was thinking. He turned around and saw this crazy white boy in a white fedora, and he's just like, okay, that's fine.
Take that freaking hat off.
He's like, Halloween was last week, bro. I didn't dress up this year, so I had to do it a week late. Whatever.
Good enough by me, man. Enjoy your life. How about this one, man? This could be the shit bag of the week. NFC West division game. The San Francisco 49ers take the little jaunt down south and play the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's a 14-point favorite. Over-under here 48. I think San Francisco sucks. I'll repeat myself until I'm blue in the face. They suck. Chip Kelly is awful. He is out of a job. How they can ask him to return next year with a straight face is beyond me. Arizona wins this game. They win it handily 35-13. Pepper Jack, tell me what you see.
I see what you see, but I also see an awful lot of David Johnson. I think San Francisco's probably got the Swiss cheese defense. There's going to be holes all through it come Sunday around 4 o'clock. J.J. Nelson, I see him flying down the sidelines for a long touchdown in this game, and I just have a horrendous feeling for that guy that quarterbacks in San Francisco. I'm sorry, I'll never get over it. He is probably part of the reason why the viewing for the NFL has been absolutely horrendous this season. I'm going Arizona. I'm going big too. I'm going 37-14 Arizona.
Yeah, and you're right. Kaepernick is a big part of of the declining viewership in the NFL. I did want to think it's worth bringing up, though, that Thursday night, the eve before Veterans Day, in that shitbag of a game in Baltimore and Cleveland, my hat's off to guys like Terrell Pryor and Joe Hayden, who took the time to run around that flag and go shake hands of all our veterans that were out there. I thought that was really awesome. Guys like Antonio Brown, who's going to wear some Pat Tillman tribute cleats this week in the game that we're going to talk about next. That's some good stuff. And for every guy like Kaepernick who's going to take a stance, shit the bed on the field, and then not even participate in our elections and talk about it. Look, for whatever reason, I don't like giving him any airtime at all, but just F him. But guys like Antonio Brown, Joe Hayden, Terrell Pryor, and all the other guys who contribute and at least have some dignity and honor about themselves, hats off to you.
Have you ever seen the 30 for 30 about Pat Tillman?
I actually have it recorded. It is probably something I will watch tonight. You
got to watch it because he was something special, man.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, obviously we can't even imagine what it took for him to go make that kind of sacrifice. Being he didn't have. The thing is, what made it even more amazing, as we all know, he didn't have to. He played in the NFL. I mean, he sacrificed his career, his time, just to go participate in something he believed deep down, and that is truly special on a very serious note.
Yeah, sure was. So, and again, we had mentioned it. Happy birthday on Thursday.